stink. He stinks.
Oh, shit.
It's gone.
Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to the Sports Hounds here on A2D Radio. I'm not Rob Brinkman, but I'm Frank Vespi. He's Brad Ryer, and I'm also producing. And welcome to tonight's show. We are brought to you by our doc, Dr. Paul Vidal, over at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. He has 2 locations over in Cherry Hill and in Burlington, New Jersey. You can make them yours over at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Rob Brinkman will be back next week. We hope that he does great on his assignment. Tonight's poll is brought to you by Body Check Wellness. They are a line of products that promote wellness, balance, and recovery by using the full potential of hemp. They come in extracts, blends, gummies, and topicals. Use promo code A2D for 25% your order at bodycheckwellness.com. And when former Philadelphia Flyer and one of the founders of Body Check Wellness, Riley Cote, appears on the Hockey Happy Hour every Tuesday, you get a special offer, maybe up towards 40% off. So you can check them out over at bodycheckwellness.com. And our poll for tonight is the NFC East will have a wild card team. Do you agree or disagree? Brad, I know this is your poll question. Take it away. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think yes. I agree. They will have a wild card team. I got to watch a lot of the Eagles, and I actually got to watch a lot of the Washington football team.
Yeah, with that huge upset.
Yes. I got to tell you, though, you watch these teams, okay? And I watch the Giants. And they all look like the same teams. They really do. And I'm going to tell you why. Because between the Eagles, Washington, and the Giants, there's always something that they do silly to keep the other teams in the game. And this week for the Eagles were the team that didn't do it. And that's why they won, and they won so soundly. Denver actually kind of looked like the Giants yesterday. And I know Giant fans are not going to like me saying that. I'm a Giant fan. I can say whatever the heck I want. And here's the deal, okay? Who gets field goals blocked all the time against the Eagles?
Not a lot.
The New York Giants. That's who manages to get field goals blocked by the Eagles.
Them too.
Who manages to fumble and let the Eagles recover it and get a touchdown? That would be the Eagles. And that would be the Giants that always seem to do it with the Eagles. The Eagles did that yesterday. As a matter of fact, they blocked a field goal. They fumble on 4th and 1. And then Slay picks up the ball. He kind of runs to the middle, and he's like, gee, what should I do? Oh, you know what? I think I'm going to run to the left and then run down the middle. And he gets a touchdown. So the Denver Broncos kind of played like the Giants yesterday at their worst. But a good job by the Eagles. I got to tell you, I was very impressed with how their defense played. Their defense basically kind of terrorized the Denver Broncos yesterday. Yeah, they were able to move the ball a little bit. They were able to get to the 30-yard line all the time. But big deal. That's not gonna cut it. 13 points is not gonna beat any team in the NFL consistently. That's for sure. Exactly. And the Eagles did the job. They really did. Jalen Hurts, every time he needed to make a big play on 3rd down, he did it. Every time. I mean, if it's 3rd and 7, he'd run for 8. If they had a pass for it, he would find the open man. And he was eluding the pass rush all day. He did a real nice job yesterday. And you know what? If the Eagles are going to continue to have a real solid running game like what they showed yesterday, they have a very good shot at making the playoffs. Because let's be honest, the wild card teams right now, I've seen them all. They're not really. There's just something wrong with every NFC team that's not presently in the wild card picture. Okay? If the Carolina Panthers have to use Cam Newton as their quarterback, that's a problem. Okay, because he's just not good anymore. The Falcons, we all know, are very up and down, mostly down. You can't depend on them. Okay, I'm going to give the Saints the benefit of the doubt that they're going to make the playoffs. I think that somehow they'll get in. They have the stock. They have that it factor. And they have Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is going to be back, and he's going to start making some big plays. And basically, what you're looking at for the Eagles is their schedule is very favorable. As much as I hate to say it, I can't see them not making the playoffs. I just can't. Not with the group that they're going up against. Their schedule right now is as follows. Next week, you got the Saints at home. And, the Eagles are due to win a game at home. Come on.
Absolutely.
Can they? I mean, come on. You got to figure they might. And, there's a possibility that Kamara may not play.
Right.
So, I mean, we don't know yet. It's only Monday, and we have no idea how long. But if Kamara doesn't play, why can't the Eagles beat him?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's a game they can win. Now they've got 2 games with the Giants. Realistically, they'll probably go 1-1. Okay. Now a lot of people think, oh well, the Eagles will lose in New York and win in Philly. Well, the way the Eagles have been playing at home this year, I think it's more likely the Giants will lose at home and then win in Philly.
Yeah, I mean,
but they're gonna go.
I was thinking the same exact thing. I'm thinking to myself, especially going into the season, something tells me with how this division is going to be that I almost had like every team in the division split. Everybody goes 1-1 respectively in the division.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's going to happen. But you look at it. They got the 2 games against the Giants. They'll probably go 1-1. They got 2 games against the Washington football team. Now, obviously, there is a big problem right now in Washington because Chase Young is now out for the season.
Yeah, huge loss for Washington.
That's a huge blow. I don't know how long Montez Sweat is out. That's something that, I'm not really a fan of that team. I know he's injured. I don't know if I heard 3 weeks. I just don't know when he actually went down. So that, I did some of my homework, but I'm not 100% sure about that one. But if he's out for any length of time, along with Young, I just don't know how. I mean, I know that they've got a good defense, but that's asking a lot.
Yeah, it is.
But meanwhile, I do think that somehow they'll find a way to go 1-1. I did get to watch a little bit of that game too. Very impressed with Heineke. Excuse me. He's good.
Yeah.
He is a very accurate passer. And he was that one thing that the football team did yesterday, which was pretty impressive, was they were able to keep Tampa Bay's pass rush out of the way.
Yeah.
And they were able to
surprisingly.
he was able to get a lot of passes off. He was able to move the team. Now they couldn't get in the end zone because every time they got close and they tried to run, Tampa Bay was there and it just wasn't going to happen. When they shortened the field and basically there was no, Kyle, they didn't have to worry about McLaren running past them or, or Gibson throwing or Gibson going on a screen pass because that seemed to be their favorite weapons yesterday. Their weapons of choice, so to speak. So Tampa Bay was able to stop them. But the bottom line is 20, let's see, what was the score? It was 23. No, 20, it was 23-19.
Yeah, 20.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
It was 23-19.
Right.
Tampa Bay was trailing. Okay. They just scored a touchdown. They botched the extra point. Okay. But still, there's like 5-6 minutes to go. What happens? The Washington football team puts together a long drive.
Yeah.
Basically killed the entire clock and then got the touchdown just to get the final just to get the final kick in the butt. And I think there was like 8 seconds to go when they got the touchdown. And Washington was so careful. They didn't even bother kicking the extra point. They went for the 2-point conversion and spiked the ball just to make sure that they wouldn't throw an interception and have them run it back and then throw it and then have them get the ball back and some kind of Brady miracle would doom them. So, a lot of credit goes to the Washington football team. I really got to give them credit for that. They played a super good game, and Tampa, shame on them. Every time they got behind 10-0, and then they get close. Then it's 7. It was 16-7.
Yeah.
No, 16-6. And then they make it 16-13. And then immediately, bang, it's 23-13.
Yeah.
I mean, every time Tampa Bay scored, they let Washington come right down the field.
Exactly.
You can't do that. How does that happen?
Right. And especially with a team that's favored to be a Super Bowl contender like Tampa Bay, allowing a far less, a not so great team like Washington answer in and out. I mean, I know that the Brady picks early in the game did not help Tampa one bit, but Washington capitalized and they did a great job with that.
Maybe they only got 2 field goals out of it.
Yeah.
But still, Washington, the first 4 times they got the ball, they scored. And I believe that's the first time they've done that in 5 years. How in God's name does that happen?
I don't even know. It's hard to believe it.
I mean, Washington, do you know that when Washington had the 10-point lead, that was the biggest lead they've had all season?
That I did not know.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That's good. I happened to turn it up when I happened to turn the game on. Okay, they had just scored again to make it 16-6. And when they said that, I was like, wait, what? What, you mean they haven't had a 10-point lead all season?
Yeah.
Seriously? That's hard to believe. I mean, I think even Jacksonville had a big lead like that against Miami.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, that's crazy, but Washington just doesn't impress me.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I just think that they always find a way to do something stupid. Whether it's a ridiculous, and with them it's always stupid penalties.
Right. It's either stupid penalties or something that Dan Snyder does. That's something that Washington does.
They always find something stupid to do.
Yeah.
Kind of like what happened with Denver yesterday. I mean, they score a touchdown and then it gets called back on a holding penalty.
Yep.
Okay. They get a field goal block from like 20 yards out. Okay. I mean, and then 4th down and 1, they probably should have kicked the field goal there.
Yeah.
No, they go for it. And not only do they fumble the ball, they let Slay go for a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, what?
Yeah. It's
these are the kind of things that teams that are not good do. And I mean, and the Eagles have done the same thing in a lot of their losses. What I want to know is how in the world, and I know they're playing bad teams, and I get that when their defense gives up 6 points or 10 points or 13 points or whatever it is in the games that they've won. How in the world can they be so ferocious defensively on the road? And they've been pretty much, other than the Dallas game and the Raider game, which both kind of got away from them. And listen, you can't kill them about Dallas. Dallas is an absolutely outstanding football team. I mean, they're just better. I mean, you can't, as much as I hate to say with the Cowboys, I can't stand the Cowboys, but they're right now, they're head and shoulders above every other team in our division.
Exactly. And looking at their win against Atlanta on yesterday.
Yeah, what was that? 43-3?
Yeah, unbelievable. 43-3 blowout. It's crazy because even going into the season, nobody knew who was going to come out on top. And did anybody have the Dallas Cowboys having 40-point games, blowing out opposing teams in Jerry World on their bingo card for this season?
Well,
they've been playing some of the best football, and as much as I hate saying that, that's probably one of the better Cowboys teams I've seen.
Oh, this is
in a very long time.
This is the best team they've had since the year they lost to the Giants, I think in 2007.
Yeah,
the Tony Romo team. They kind of choked against Eli and the Giants.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean that year they were 13-3. I mean that was a great team. I mean somehow they found a way to lose that game. But getting back to the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Cowboys, the Giants, and the football team. Okay, I think one of these teams will make the playoffs. They will find a way because you know what? I'm watching the same team. I'm watching a little bit of the Minnesota-San Diego game. The Minnesota Raiders game. No, they played the Chargers.
Yes, they did play the Chargers. Yep.
Minnesota kept blowing 10-point leads.
Yep.
You know, the Chargers come back, they take the lead. They're up 13-3. Chargers come back and make it 17-14, and then the Vikings score 2 touchdowns, and then they end up winning 27-20. And you're watching both of those teams, and they're both getting penalties and getting touchdowns called back, and making dumb passes at the wrong time. Or special teams letting them down. These are the same consistent stupid things that the Eagles do, that the Giants do, and that the Washington football team does. So you look at Minnesota, the Eagles could beat out Minnesota. I think maybe the Giants could beat out Minnesota. They're not that good, and they've got a much more difficult schedule. Okay? So you look at Minnesota, they're beatable.
Yeah.
Carolina, I mean, listen, if you want to bring in Cam for the Wildcat, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But are they really? I mean, I know they got McCaffrey back, and that does make a difference. But are they going to be a playoff team? Do you think he's going to stay healthy?
Yeah, I mean,
he's always getting hurt.
Yeah, he's always getting hurt, and then you don't know what you're going to do with McCaffrey, because God forbid if McCaffrey gets hurt again. If McCaffrey goes down, that's probably it for Carolina. And it looked like it for a couple games this season.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they can't. They lost every game when McCaffrey got hurt.
Yep.
Every game. Now you look at a similar situation with the New York Giants, and now comparing the Giants. Okay, Barkley's supposed to come back. He practiced full practice today, completely healthy, and they're expecting big things from him. Now remember, the Giants had a bye week this weekend, so they didn't play. So Barkley got to practice. Everything was fine. They're hoping that he comes in tomorrow, and he doesn't start limping or having anything happen. Keep the birds away from pooping on his head. We don't want a concussion. We don't want anything crazy like that to happen.
Yep.
And maybe, who knows? But the Giants will definitely have their shot too, because their schedule isn't exactly that difficult either.
Right.
I want to get back to the Eagles again.
Okay.
You're playing teams that you can beat. None of these teams are better than you. They may be even with you, but they're definitely not better than you. They're just as bad as you are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're trying to compare yourselves, like let's compare like Seattle, okay? Who I think Seattle is a much better team than the Eagles or the Giants or Washington. But you know what the problem is? Russ just got back.
Yep.
And they still have to play the Cardinals. They still have to play the Rams. Okay. And I'm not sure who the rest of their schedule is, but you know what? They were the second place team last year. No, they were the first place team last year.
They were, yeah.
So they're going to have to play the Cowboys. If they haven't played Tampa Bay already, they're going to have to play Tampa Bay. It's not going to be. It's not going to be
easy. But
no.
I actually did pull up their schedule. So the next several games for the Seahawks. I mean, they got the Cardinals this week. Then they go to Washington. Then back to San Fran.
That's not. By the way, that is not going to be an easy game.
Yeah.
For Seattle. Going to the East Coast is never easy for that team.
It is never easy, but Russell Wilson in primetime games on the road is a completely different animal.
Yeah, no, he is. He is. I know. I'll give you that. But still, you're talking about them having to play the Rams and the Cardinals, and I'm sure by the time I'm sure this week, I can't imagine that you're going to not see Murray and DeAndre Hopkins back in there again this week. I would assume that they're both going to be back.
Yeah, I mean, you expect one of them to be back, and then of course,
one of them will be back, if not both of them.
Right, and with Russ going back into full swing, we'll probably see, a lot of fantasy owners were pretty frustrated with the lack of production of DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. You're probably going to see more production from both Metcalf and Lockett this week, and then for the rest of the season. So,
but the bottom line is, it's not going to be easy for them.
Yeah, it's not.
They got to play a lot of good teams. Okay, they're not playing the Giants twice. Right. They're not playing the Washington football team twice. Okay, they have to play the 49ers, who you never know who's going to show up with the 49ers. They're another team that's just bizarre this year.
Yeah.
We'll get to see them tonight, and they play the Rams tonight.
Yes.
I think the line is like 2.5.
Yeah, it kind of went down a little bit. I was very surprised.
Does that line sound like a fishy line to you?
It looks like a fishy line to me.
I see a line like that, and I'm saying to myself, you know what? The Rams are going to lose.
Yeah, I know they're not having. I don't think Von Miller's going to be out. Like, I don't think Miller's out. I mean, Robert Woods, he went down with the ACL, but they did get Odell Beckham.
Going to be in there.
Yeah, Odell Beckham's going to be in there. We all know what the strategy is going to be. It's going to be, all right, we're going to pass the Cup. Okay, maybe a pass to Van Jefferson. Maybe some to Odell. All right, maybe a pass to Tyler Higbee. Here comes Darrell Henderson. We all know what the Rams game plan is going to be. It's going to be throw to Cooper Kupp the whole game.
Right, but you know what? What's going to end up happening?
Yep.
Mark my words. And I watched Beckham a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Beckham has always wanted to play for the Rams.
Mm.
That's the team. When he wanted to get traded from the Giants, he wanted to go to LA. And there was no way in hell Dave Gettleman was going to let him have his way.
Right.
So he traded him to, the most godforsaken place we could all think of, and that's Cleveland. Okay.
Yeah.
So he has a pretty good year his first year. And then the last couple of years he got hurt. Then last year he got hurt again. And then didn't recover till the middle of the season. But you know what? He's healthy now. He has his wish. He's going to the Rams. Okay. Yep. He's in his walk year. He has a good solid finish.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams will re-sign him. There's no question in my mind. And
they're going to somehow, some way get him re-signed. Especially with all those contracts, like they're going to get it done.
He has always wanted to be a Ram, always, and that's what pissed us off about him, was that he never really wanted to be a Giant. He wanted to be a Ram,
right?
Too bad you're on the Giants, buddy, but that's the way it goes. Now, he can get if he behaves himself, which I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
He can get a free ride to the Super Bowl. All he's got to do is just make sure that he's okay. Listen, if Antonio Brown can resurrect his career, why can't Odell?
Yep. I think LA is the perfect place for him. We know what Antonio Brown has done when he came back in Tampa. He was being very productive, and so far this season he's been.
Yeah,
it felt like he went back. What was right back where he started from,
Right. Because he wanted to play with Brady, and Belichick didn't like his attitude, so Belichick cut him last year, or 2 years ago. I'm sorry. So now he's with Brady, and he's keeping his mouth shut, and he's doing what he always did, which was catch passes and score touchdowns, and that's what Odell Beckham's going to do. And I know a lot of people can't stand him, but the bottom line is, this is what he can do, and this is what he's done. And the guy has had as high as 1,400 yards receiving. Plus he's a pretty good passer, and he can run the football. I think the Rams got themselves one heck of a player between him and Von Miller, and to have both of them on the team now. I mean, and the first game is going to be against San Francisco, which their defense should give them a little bit of a test, but that's going to be some team. It's going to be a tough team. That's why, and this is why when I look at the playoffs, and now you have 7 teams in the playoffs, then you're going to have 3 wild card teams.
Yep.
If you end up being the number 7 team, you're going to end up either playing the Dallas Cowboys or the Green Bay Packers or the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, maybe the Cardinals, but I don't think so. I still don't think the Cardinals are quite at that level. All right. Is it better to get your brains beat in the first round of the playoffs than to make the playoffs?
Yeah.
I know Rob and I have had this argument. He says, I'm soft. You have to make the playoffs. I don't care how much you lose by. How much did that help Washington to make the playoffs last year? And they were a young team. Did that help them?
Not really.
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't. When you get your brains beaten in the playoffs, all it does is send you tumbling right back down the hill again, and make you feel like you were a paper tiger. And I've always felt that way. And maybe I'm wrong. I mean, some people don't agree with me about that. But yeah, if you're going to make the playoffs, at least make the playoffs and look like a team that not only belongs in the playoffs, but a team that actually could be a tough team to beat in the playoffs. That's what you want to do. I mean, yeah, last year when Washington played Tampa Bay in the playoffs, Washington gave them a pretty good fight. But do you think Tampa Bay was ever in danger of losing that game?
Nope.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, okay, right. The score was close, but Washington never really was in a position where they could take the lead and win that game. Right. They were just like, hanging around, and that was it. And especially if you're going to be on the road, that just makes it all the more difficult, because in the playoffs, home field is critical.
Yep.
Especially when you're not a very good team and you have to be on the road.
Right.
It's one thing if you win the division and you have the home game, and your record's bad. That's tough enough anyway. But if you're a road team and you're playing against a great team, take the Chicago Bears last year.
Yep.
Against the Saints. How much has it helped them in the playoffs, making the playoffs last year, not scoring at all? Yeah. I think they scored, one touchdown and then punted every other time?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Did that help them this year? Or
nope, and it caused Mitchell Trubisky to end up in Buffalo behind Josh Allen.
Right. So what's the big deal?
Yeah.
Just asking. Asking. Because that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yep.
So it is what it is, but
it is what it is.
And now I want to get back to the Eagles for a minute.
All right, so Brad, but first, before you go back to the Eagles, let's get to some of our comments, because I know the chat's starting to fly and people are coming in.
Yeah, I'm not able to see any of them.
Okay, so I'll pull some of the comments up. So we got Jimmy Ryeweller saying, "What up, my guys?" Andy Ritter, have a great show. Thank you very much. And Jimmy also says, he's double dipping over on YouTube. He says, "I unfortunately agree to the poll. The Eagles will find their way in, and we will lose an opportunity at more than one top 10 pick." And then we got Peter Evans saying, "Yo," and he disagrees to the poll. Then we got Jake Friel saying, "What's up, boys?" He is also going to disagree to the poll. And then Harlem Cowboy, he says, "Sorry, no wildcard team coming out of this division." And he also says, "What's up?" Tom Arnone saying, "Yo, guys." He agrees to the poll, and both will have easy schedules. Bryce Blackwell with the yo. Joey DiBardino with a football, and which I presume is a Ram emoji. I guess he's got the Rams winning this one. And over in Blue City Empire Sports, he says Brian Cashman was having a talk with the Atlanta Braves free agent, Freddie Freeman.
Fake news.
J6 agrees to the poll, and Troy H agrees with Jimmy. So Troy, if you want to break bread with Jimmy, Flight Zone is coming up at a special time over on 8:30, right after we wrap up.
Yeah. Disagree with the Freddie Freeman thing. Okay. I think the Yankees are going to get Matt Olson. They can't listen. You can't sign everybody as a free agent. Okay. Yeah. They need a shortstop, right? They need a center fielder, and they need a starting pitcher. Okay. They're not going to go and sign a free agent first baseman. Either they're going to go with Voit or they're going to trade for Matt Olson.
Yep.
That's what's going to end up happening, because Matt Olson is a natural. But anyway, getting back to the Eagles. Okay. I've seen enough now of the Eagles to be able to, I think, make a pretty accurate assessment of this team. If this team continues to be able to run the ball and not make Jalen Hurts have to beat you, they're gonna win most of their games.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, and I think the key game comes this week against the Saints. And if Albert Kamara is not in the lineup on Sunday, I think the Eagles win that game.
Yeah.
And if that happens, look out, because all these other teams are going to be knocking each other off. And meanwhile, the Eagles, the Giants, and Washington kind of play each other as well, but there's no automatic wins for anybody else. Okay. Right. One of those teams is going to emerge between the Eagles, the Giants, and Washington.
Yep.
So I definitely think that the seventh team can absolutely be one of those teams. So if you're of the opinion that it matters to you just to make the playoffs and get blasted in the first round, that's okay. I understand. I'm not going to criticize you. It's just my opinion, but okay.
Right.
But at least you'll have made the playoffs, which
Yeah,
will absolutely destroy
Right.
your drafting situation. But that's okay.
Exactly, and also I think it's like good progress with what we see with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. I know that Rob brought up the growth of Nick Sirianni over on the Rant Booth, which you can check out every Sunday at 11:30, only on A2D, live from Ocean City. But I think if they do make the playoffs, I still like the direction on where this team's going, especially when you're building around a young core. Jalen Hurts, can he be the franchise guy going into year number 3? You got the run game somewhat established. You still need to figure it out once Miles Sanders comes back from his injury. You get your number 1 wide receiver in Devontae Smith. You have Dallas Goedert as your tight end of the future. I mean, things are looking up for the Eagles, in the next couple of years. If everything still goes right. But if you do make
the only problem for the Eagles, Frank, I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's all right.
The only problem that I see is that their defense is kind of old.
Yeah, the defense is getting old. I know. I love seeing Fletcher Cox. I see a lot of the old guard from that Super Bowl team, but especially when a very defensive loaded draft is coming up, like you can't pass on the opportunity to, hey, we need to get.
They've got to load up. Listen, if they can load up their defense,
the
way the Cowboys did, and bring in 2 outstanding young defensive players that can make the team, okay, then you've got something. Because I do think that the Eagles, now that they're running the football a lot and not making Hurts the focus of the offense, but more or less as just the threat of running, I think that you've got something there. The only problem I have with Hurts is if you play a good team, they'll keep him in the pocket and not let him get outside and run.
Exactly.
And if he has to become a pocket passer, I don't know if he's good enough to do that. And I didn't say he can't. I just said I don't know if he's good enough. He hasn't showed me yet against a good team that he can do that.
And when he does become a pocket passer, the biggest flaw with him is the arm accuracy. Like he has the strength to do it, but the problem is he's either too short or he throws too far, which leads to either a wide open pass becoming incomplete or an interception. And I hope he gets it together with the next couple.
Well,
of
if he ends up becoming Teddy Bridgewater, because that's kind of what Teddy Bridgewater did. I mean, that there was one play yesterday where I believe they had somebody that was so open there wasn't even anybody in the picture.
Yeah,
on a long pass, and I think Teddy overthrew him by like 10, 15 yards. Do you remember the play I'm talking about?
I do remember what you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now we had something here from New York sports about the Giants and Eagles. I agree. I have the Giants splitting with the Eagles too.
I agree as well.
And I mean, listen, I'm a Giant fan, so just let's get one thing straight, Blue City. Okay, I get it, but the problem with the Giants is that the Giants always shoot themselves in the foot and get in their own way.
Yep.
Now, Tom Bryan, now he's saying Tom Brady is going to bully our Giants. Let me tell you something, okay? If Rob Gronkowski doesn't play again, and who was the other receiver that was missing yesterday?
Antonio Brown was missing.
Yeah, Antonio Brown was missing yesterday too. If those 2 guys aren't playing this week, okay, I think my Giants have a very good shot at winning against Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. If they do play, all bets are off.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, then it's going to be a loss. But if those guys are out, hey, we do have a shot.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. All right. That's going to be it for football this week. Frank, I want to go into a little bit of some hot stove because we got some real interesting items coming up right now.
Okay.
Of course, we all know, if we don't know, we all know now, Eduardo Rodriguez, former Red Sox left-handed pitcher, he signed with the Detroit Tigers. So the first, how do you put it? The first
off-season moves.
Yeah, the first to me, big pitcher has been taken off the board.
Yeah, and Don, of course he hates the Lions right now, but he loves what the Tigers have been doing so far this offseason.
I think that is a very good move for the Tigers. I mean, let's be honest. Eduardo Rodriguez playing in Fenway Park, he's a left-handed pitcher that throws a lot of fly balls. Okay? That's not conducive to being highly successful at Fenway Park. And, he also came off a season where he was basically had missed the entire season in 2020 because he had COVID and then he had heart problems. So the poor guy couldn't pitch in 2020 and he struggled a little bit in 2021. But you know what? If you're the Tigers and you want to go out there and pick yourself up a veteran pitcher who has a very high ceiling, I think that was a good move for them.
Yeah.
And you've got some other things going on right now. He signs with Detroit. A couple of notes. Jonathan India and Randy Arozarena are the rookies of the year.
There we go.
So that's been complete. And I want to get to the Phillies right now and the Yankees. Yep. Okay, because those are the two most interesting things for me right now to go to. And I want to talk about a couple of free agents that it looks like both teams are going to be highly interested in. Seager, the shortstop. Carlos Correa, another shortstop. These are two guys that I think both these teams should be highly interested in.
Absolutely.
I have a funny feeling that these are the two teams that are going to acquire these two shortstops, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question. The Phillies have got to get themselves a shortstop that's a little bit more athletic.
Younger, Correa, more athletic.
Yeah, more athletic and a good offense.
Right.
I see the Phillies going after getting Carlos Correa, and I see the Yankees getting Seager. And the reason I think this is how it's going to work out. First of all, Correa went and made nasty comments about Jeter. I don't know if that's going to. Yeah. I mean, we already hate him in the Bronx to begin with, and saying that, I think Cashman's going to kind of get the hint that the fans are not going to want this guy, no matter how good he is, because he's just such a douche. Yeah, that I'm going to say it. He's kind of a douche. It would make more sense to get Seager. Seager also is left-handed, so you could take advantage of that short right field porch. And while he's not as good a defensive player as Correa, I think he'll hit more home runs, and I think that's right up Brian Cashman's alley. I think Correa would do better in Philly only because Philly is an easier place all around to hit home runs than Yankee Stadium, because he can hit them to left field. He can hit them to right field. He's a brilliant fielder. I mean, I think he's a little bit better of a player than Seager, but I think Seager's the right fit in New York, and I think Correa might be the right fit in Philadelphia. What do you think?
I mean, I think either guys are the right fit. You need a guy to fill the void of Didi. I don't think Didi's coming back, but we need some stupid money. We need to get either one of these guys. If we get one of these two guys, I'll be happy. You also have Bryson Stott waiting in the wings as well as your next possible shortstop.
Or you could get the other thing you could do, if you're the Phillies, is you could sign Semien. Because Semien is played second base this year, but he is actually a shortstop.
Right.
So if you wanted to keep Didi for one more year because of the contract and put Semien at second, you're kind of weak at second too.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a bad move either. And if Didi just can't cut it anymore at shortstop, you could just move Semien over and without any without any issues at all. I think he might be even a better fit as well. And he's a big time player. Always has been. I've always liked Semien. Always tried to get him on my fantasy team. So he's always a guy I've always been highly admired by. Pitching, which is another thing.
Yeah.
And we've got some real interesting pitchers out there, Frank.
Yeah.
You got Verlander, Noah Syndergaard,
Mm.
Robbie Ray, who won the Cy Young Award.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And then you've got Corey Kluber, and you got Justin Verlander. I'm trying to think. There's one other one that I'm forgetting. Oh, Oral Hershiser. What?
Oh, Hershiser, he's
Kershaw.
back.
Clayton Kershaw. I'm sorry, Clayton Kershaw. What is wrong with me? Another senior moment by Brad Ryer. Sorry about that, guys. Clayton Kershaw is also a free agent, as well as Max Scherzer.
Wow.
So you've got all these pitchers out there. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. If you're going to buy players, okay, this is the year to do it because there is actually a ton of them to go after that can help your pitching staff.
Absolutely.
Okay? Obviously, everybody's going to want Max Scherzer, okay? But I happen to think that Max Scherzer is going to be is going to play in the West Coast. It sounds like that's where he wants to live.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if obviously the Yankees and Phillies, if they had their first choice, that would be the guy.
Oh yeah,
because he's magnificent. He is what you call a magnificent beast of a pitcher.
Yes.
Only 36 years old, hasn't lost a thing. You could probably get him if you get him for 5 years, you probably get 3 really good years out of him. I mean, that's the guy you want to get if he come. But if he doesn't, again, you got Ray, who won the Cy Young Award. Although I don't think that's going to happen again. And I think for him to go to New York or Philadelphia, for him, a huge mistake. I don't know that he can handle our towns.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Can you imagine? I mean, he's a Cy Young Award winner. Could you imagine him? And he's never done it before. He never had a good year before this. Nothing even close.
Right.
Okay. He comes to New York or he comes to Philly, and he's 0-3 with a 5.9 ERA. Can you imagine what's going to happen?
Oh yeah.
He'll be
all it's going to be brutal on him.
I'm just thinking about it because I mean the Yankee fans. Cole has one bad game and they boo the living daylights out of him. If he did that, or he went to Philadelphia and he had a couple of bad games, could you imagine the fan? Oh,
yeah, I can imagine the dial like calling for his head, like not even like one pitch in. He's like, oh, he stinks. Let's get rid of him. Like,
but what did we do? What did we do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm all in favor of stupid money, but we got to. I mean, the Phillies desperately need help with pitching. I mean, another starter. I mean, a lot of bullpen help.
I just named an entire 9-pitcher staff for you.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're the Yankees or the Phillies,
there you go.
You got to bring in at least one of these guys.
Oh, okay? Absolutely.
And you know what? You could go for the guy that had Tommy John surgery. There are a couple of guys there like that with Verlander and Syndergaard. But you know what? They had it 2 years ago.
Yep.
And because they had it a little late, they both had it in May. They couldn't come back this year. But the good news is they get an extra 7-8 months.
Yep.
For their arms to recover. They should usually when the pitchers come back in 15 months, they have a so-so year the following season. Yeah. These guys are going to have almost 23 months of recovery time. They should both be able to come in and just whip that ball right in there.
Yeah.
So I think that Verlander and Syndergaard, you could probably get them for maybe a year or two to let them reestablish themselves.
Yeah. And
then look out. I mean, I don't think you have to spend too much money for them. Scherzer will cost you your life savings, your children, and maybe your grandchildren to get him. But he's worth every dime.
Oh, absolutely.
And then you have Robbie Ray, who I think should, if he has any brains at all, stay in Toronto, dude. Even if you have a bad game, nobody cares. They're quiet.
I mean, you got a great team on the upside. I would say
just stay there. Don't come to the United States. You don't want to do that. That would be a very, very bad move for you. Some of the other guys, I mean, we'll see. Yeah. I mean, are they? We keep, and Blue City Empire Sports keeps saying now with the Yankees that they're about to make a deal with Justin Verlander. I keep reading that, and you know what? I have to see that to believe it. because I haven't heard anything about Justin Verlander ever wanting to go to New York, unless his better half, wants him to play in New York. I suppose if his better half wants him to play in New York, he'll play in New York, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, here there's actually some sources going around. Jeff Passan says Justin Verlander will sign this week, and he thinks that the team he'll sign with is the Yankees, but he has no idea about Carlos Correa at the moment.
Yeah, I keep hearing this with Justin Verlander, but I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah,
because that's just. I mean, and he's a longtime enemy, and he kind of doesn't. I've never heard him ever say that he liked New York. So now the Garrett Cole factor. Okay. Well, Blue City Sports just mentioned the friends with Garrett Cole factor. Okay.
Yeah.
If you think that that's part of the reason, I would buy that. I would think more of the reason, though, is the reason a lot of guys come to New York is when they have famous wives is because their wife wants to go to New York.
Yeah.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. With Wayne Gretzky, okay?
Yeah.
Did Janet Jones want to go to L.A.?
Wasn't that a rumor? Wasn't that a rumor?
Yeah, she wanted him to go to L.A. because she was a model and she had all these opportunities there.
That's what I thought. I knew there was something.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden Wayne goes and gets traded to Los Angeles. Maybe it's me, but man, maybe where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe that is going to happen. Yeah. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to tell you right now, Frank. December 1st, the players and owners are going to have to renegotiate a new deal.
Yeah.
Okay, because the deal's over November 30th. So I think a lot of these owners are going to go out and make these deals now.
Yeah.
And when I say now, between tonight and the end of this month, I don't think you're going to have to wait till January or February for some of these big stars to get signed. I think they're all going to want to go out. The only team that was over the salary cap, or luxury tax was the Dodgers. Right. So I think a lot of these teams have all reset their caps, and they're going to go out there and be hog wild for the next month.
Oh yeah.
Because there could be a new rule, and if there are new rules, the old rules are not going to get grandfathered. The old rules will have to get grandfathered in if you sign them before that. So that's where they're going to go with that. That's what I look for. I don't look for the Yankees to get Freddie Freeman, by the way. As I said, I think they're going to make a trade with Oakland to get Matt Olson. Matt Olson only makes $7 million. If you get a $7 million first baseman, okay, that gives you plenty of money to go out and get your starting pitcher. And if you want to try it, you throw your hat in the ring for Starling Marte, you will be essentially done.
Yeah.
Maybe sign a relief pitcher or two along the way, a cheap one, and then you're on the way. So I think that's where we are with free agency. And a couple of things I wanted to mention about hockey before we get off the air.
Yeah.
The Ottawa Senators have canceled their next 3 games.
Yeah, I saw that.
10 players are down with COVID.
Jeez.
10 players.
It's like the Vancouver Canucks situation all over again.
Yep. Now the teams that are affected by these are the Devils.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the Nashville
the Predators,
and the Rangers, because I know the Rangers play them Saturday night. So that's really that's kind of unfortunate because everybody wants to play the Senators right now. They're losing every game right now.
They're losing every game, and
they got some young players, but they got some young players, but they're absolutely terrible. One thing I do want to mention, which is really good news around here and in my section of the woods as well, is the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Rangers. I mean, we have 2 teams right now that are really playing some good hockey. The Flyers come off beating maybe the best team in the NHL the other night on the road. Who did they play? I can't remember.
It was Carolina.
Carolina.
They beat a bunch of jerks.
Yeah. Yeah, they beat Carolina. I think that was Carolina's first loss, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
And yeah, they were 10-0, something along those lines. And they beat Edmonton on the road as well. You got to give them a lot of credit. What are they, 8-3-3 or something like that? They're right in that area.
The Flyers are.
They're doing very well right now.
I know they got. I think they are. You got. I think it's 7-4-2.
Oh, okay, 7-4-2. They're off to a really good start.
Yeah, I mean, in a very competitive division like the Metro.
Absolutely.
I'm glad they're holding their ground in there.
Yeah, they are, and I'll tell you what, they are going to be up against it with Calgary.
Mm-hmm.
Calgary is tough. I mean, they just took the Rangers basically and rolled them up into a little ball and threw them in the trash can a couple of times.
Yeah,
they beat them 5-1 and 6-0. So,
yeah,
if I'm the Rangers, if we God forbid if we get to the finals, please don't have to play them again.
Yeah,
I'm just glad we only play the Flames twice a year because.
Yeah,
man, oh man, I know they beat up the Flyers pretty good in Calgary too.
I know we kept it close for most of that game.
I think they lost 4-0.
4-0. For some reason, I thought the score was a lot different. Maybe I was just going crazy.
It was 1-0 after 2, and then they got 3.
That's why I thought.
It
was closer. Than
Calgary. What makes Calgary so tough is A, they've got a great goalie.
Yeah,
and B, they're big. And we're not talking about like maybe 2 or 3 players that are big. I'm talking about the whole damn team is big. And they hit you and they hit you and they hit you. And by the third period, you've had it. You're basically, you're tired. And they just wear you down. And they're especially tough to beat at home.
Yep.
So we'll see. I mean, it's good. That'll be an interesting game. I know the Rangers' next game is against Montreal, which I'm okay with that. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
They're playing Montreal at the Garden. That should be a win, but now that I put the kiss of death on the Rangers, I'll say, well, maybe they're going to lose. Or
maybe get a point out of it. You never know. They might get a point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But the Rangers have been not a surprise. I can't say that they're a surprise because I expected them to be pretty good this year. But 9-3-3, I wasn't expecting that. That's
right.
That's awfully good right now for them. It's going to be an interesting year. Pittsburgh looks like they're done. And I've been saying that at the beginning of the season, that I kind of threw them out early. The one team that could be a fly in the ointment for both the Rangers and the Flyers is the Devils.
Mm-hmm.
They're a lot better than I thought they were.
Yeah.
They looked real good last night against the Rangers. I thought that they played a very solid game. That's a team that you got to keep an eye on. They got a lot of young players who are really playing well. And Hughes has been injured for the last 3 weeks, and I think he's got another 2-3 weeks to go. But here's a team that looks to be a vastly improved team. They got Dougie Hamilton now, which obviously makes a huge difference on their defense. They got Graves now, and that definitely helps too. That's a pretty good team now.
Yeah.
A lot better than I thought it was going to be. So that could be the one team that can mess this whole thing up. Because at the beginning of the season, I had the Devils and Blue Jackets as throwouts along with the Penguins. So to me, it was going to be the next 5 teams, which are obviously the Rangers, the Flyers, the Capitals, excuse me, who am I missing? The Islanders.
Yeah.
And I think I'm missing one team. But I think you get the gist of it. The Capitals.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I had those 5, and then I had the Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay, and Toronto. And it looks like that's going to happen. The Bruins are the one team that, you have to stay ahead of. Because if you can stay ahead of them, then even if you finish 5th, you have a chance. You can make the playoffs. And as you know, in hockey, anything can happen in hockey. You get a hot goalie.
Yeah.
Hockey's the one sport that's very, very hard to figure in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
You just don't know.
Yeah. You never know who's going to catch lightning in a bottle. And we saw that last season too,
Montreal went to the finals.
Yeah.
Carey Price got hot and they went to the finals.
They went to the finals, and of course, They went up against the Lightning, and
well,
the
the Lightning are too good. The Lightning were too good.
They were too.
I mean, you know, that's just the way it is. I'm still, you know, the Islanders haven't played one home game yet.
They have not. I know UBS Arena. I know that they're finished. They are just finished. I think their first home game's coming up too.
Yeah, they've played 12 games. I think they're playing their 13th game in a row on the road in Tampa Bay tonight. What I was watching before, it was 1-1. But excuse me, the fact that I think that they're 5-4-1. No, they're 5-4-2, I believe.
Yep, 5-4-2.
12 points. The fact that they have 12 points and they've played 13 games, 12 games on the road, you know, that team is almost impossible to beat at home.
Exactly.
Now our division is going to have to deal with the fact that they have an extra 13 home games.
Yeah.
You know, that they're going to be playing for the rest of the season over everybody else.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
and of course, you know where the Islanders are going trend-wise, you know, especially with a brand new arena like UBS. It looks beautiful, by the way. You know, I think Islanders fans, they're just going to pack up that house, and you know that they are the loudest. That home ice is going to be a lot different.
Well, they've always had a big home ice advantage, because even when they don't always necessarily show up there, but their fans are just loud. So that's the one thing that you know.
And it has it right back here. Yep, my dad knows.
I know. But you can see Brian Leach over here, and right over here, Bark Messier, and then a lot of Ranger pucks up there. But anyway, but they're they're gonna. You got to watch them, because you know they played all road games, and you know you play 13 games on the road. I don't know how the heck that just tells you just how good a team they are. The fact that they've held up, and you know, if they beat Tampa Bay tonight, to be able to go 6-4 and 7-4-2 or something like that. Again,
5-4-2, I believe.
They're 5-4-2 right now, so they have 2 more games.
Yeah, they get their first, and they get their home opener against Calgary on the 20th.
Yeah, well, that's not going to be so easy either. But Calgary is on a road trip now.
Yep.
So, you know, they may end up getting tired by the time they're out there. You know, and then oh boy, I mean, and those two teams are two of the biggest, nastiest teams in the league. Yeah. So that's going to be real interesting. I think the Metropolitan Division is going to be a lot of fun. I think the Flyer fans are going to enjoy this season. I think the Ranger fans are going to enjoy this season. I think that the Rangers are going to go the next time they play the Devils. If I were Subban, I wouldn't even show up. Yeah, because he went and slew-footed. He went and slew-footed Sammy Blais last night.
Yep.
And you know, every time a Ranger went over to try to involve him, he skated away like the big pansy ass that he is. He is going to get his.
Yes.
I mean, it's all, you know, he always tries to make it like it was an accident. It was an accident with Ryan Reeves, and he claims it was an accident. He went and actually, because they're friends, he actually texted him after the game to apologize during the preseason. He did it to somebody else, and he got suspended for 2 games. Now he injures Bly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and he didn't get his retribution, and the Rangers don't play them again until March. But when they play them again in March, watch out. Okay, because the Rangers probably didn't fight them because it was 3-3. They were protecting a 3-2 lead last night, and you know, obviously they're not going to go to the penalty box and give away 2 points just to even up a score. But at the beginning of the game, next time they play, watch out. That could be very interesting.
Very interesting.
Anyway, we are out of time, and
we are out of time, and
I want to thank Frank Vespi for
you're welcome
for hanging out here on the Sports Hounds. Rob, we hope to have you back next week, and it was a pleasure
as always
being here. And I hope I didn't put you guys to sleep, and I hope I didn't aggravate too many of you Philadelphia fans.
Nope, nobody got aggravated, which is good.
You know me, I'm Mr. New York, and you know Rob loves to call me names, and that is what it is. But I tried to be on my best behavior, so I'll see you guys next week. And he's Frank Vespi, and I'm Brad Ryer. Peace, everybody.
Peace, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night.